Today we're going to learn a beginner version of Free Falling by Tom Petty. First we'll go through the chords used in the song so that we're familiar and comfortable with playing them, and then we'll move into how the song is played, step by step, verse by verse, nice and slow, and together. Before we start playing, the first thing you should always do is make sure that your guitar is in tune. I suggest using a digital tuner so that your guitar is in perfect tuning. Today's song, Free Falling by Tom Petty, is in standard tuning, and it's played in two different ways. I'm going to teach you both ways. Both ways are used with a capo. I'm going to show you how to use that, and then you can basically choose which version is best for you to learn and best for you to play. Another thing to remember when playing guitar is that you want to make sure that you cut your fingernails. It's going to make it much easier for you to play and easier for you to push down onto your frets to get a cleaner sound. So, as before, what we're going to do is we're going to refer to our fingers as numbers. Finger number 1 is your index finger, finger number 2 is your middle finger, finger number 3 is your ring finger, and finger number 4 is your pinky. And what we'll do is when I say finger 1, then you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. Okay, let's move into the song now. Okay, so Free Falling is played in two different ways, like I said. Now, we're going to start with the first way. So the first way, you have to put your capo onto your first fret. So we're going to do that now. Okay, now when Tom Petty's playing this live, this is how he plays it. Then he has someone else play the higher part, which we're going to go over after. So the chords he uses in this one are an E, an A suspended 4, and a B suspend 4. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use those. Okay, so first chord he does an E. So the next chord is the E chord. The E chord is used with 3 fingers. You can also interchange this chord using different fingers. What we're going to do is we're going to take our number 2 finger and we're going to put it on the 3rd fret here, which is now our 2nd fret because we have our capo on. So say 3rd fret, 2nd finger on the A string. And we're going to put our 3rd finger onto the 3rd fret right next to it on the D string, and then our number 1 finger here is going to go down onto the 2nd fret on the G string. Now that's our E, now that we moved it up. And that's what it should sound like. Okay? Now, for the A suspended 4.
The A suspend 4 variation uses only 2 fingers and is in the same structure as an E minor, but up 2 strings.
There's so many variations of A suspended 4. All we got to do is move our 2nd and 3rd finger up to the D and the A in the D and the G string, sorry. So our 2nd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret on the D string, and our 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret on the G string. And we're going to strum that. That's all we got to do. These 2 fingers aren't going to do anything. Okay? Now after that, he goes back to the E. So again, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the A string. 3rd finger, this one here, is going to go on the 3rd fret on the D string. And our number 1 finger here is going to go down up here on the 2nd fret on the G string. Another E, okay, and this is the one that gets a little hard. And this is called a B suspended 4.
B suspend 4 is in the form of a power chord and uses 3 fingers.
So our first finger is going to come on the 3rd fret on the A string. Our 2nd finger isn't going to do anything this time. We're going to take our 3rd finger and put it down onto the 5th fret on the D string, and our pinky is going to go right below it on the 5th fret on the G string. And this is what that should sound like. Okay? Now the rhythm goes, it goes E, suspend 4, then you hit suspend 4 again, then E, then B suspend 4. This is how it would sound. I'll play it back so we can play it together nice and slow. It sounds like this. Okay? Let's practice that together. So E, suspend 4, A suspend 4, suspend 4 again, you strum it one more time, back to the E, and then you have to practice, but then you move down to that B suspend 4, sorry. So let's do it nice and slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. And feel free to pause and practice that by yourself, and then go back and play it with me again. And he does this for the entire song. He never ever changes his rhythm. There's no different rhythm for his chorus. He plays this the whole time. Now as you get more comfortable, you can listen to the strumming pattern of it, and I'll make another video with a little bit more advanced strumming. And you can get an idea of how he plays through the whole song. So let's do it one more time together, nice and slow. From the E to the A suspend 4, A suspend 4, one more strum, back to the E, and back to B suspend 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget, up in the top corner here, I'm showing you everything that you can see about doing the chord. So if you can't quite see me playing it here, then it's up in the top corner. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next part of the song, which is played with the capo on the 3rd fret. Okay, so let's take our capo and we'll put it onto the 3rd fret. Make sure your capo is straight, otherwise you might get a string bend, and then you won't know why you're getting, you know, a sound that doesn't sound quite right. You think you're playing the a chord properly, but it doesn't quite sound right, and that could possibly be the reason. Okay, so this version with the capo on the 3rd fret is a little bit different. It starts with a D, a G major or a 4-finger D, and then another variation of an A suspended 4. So this is how it's going to sound. So a D, and then a G major, 4-finger G, okay? Let's go through that step by step. And make sure you keep an eye up in the top corner here, because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to see. Okay, so start off with our D chord.
The next chord, D, uses only 3 fingers.
So our first finger is going to go on the G string on the 5th fret. Our 3rd finger is going to go onto the B string on the 6th fret. And then our 2nd finger is going to go in here in between these guys onto the 5th fret on the high E string. That should sound like this. Okay.
The next chord is a G major, or what I like to call a 4-finger G, where all 4 fingers are used.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to leave our 3rd finger down there. This finger is not going to move. These ones are going to come off. Leave this one on. We're going to take our 2nd finger, put it onto the 6th fret on the big E string. We're going to take our 1st finger, we're going to put it onto the 5th fret on the A string, and our little pinky is going to go down here onto the 6th fret onto the high E string. This is going to give us our G major, or a 4-finger G. It should sound like that. Okay. Now what happens is then he's going to go back to the D, and then
A suspend 4 is a variation of the original A chord, and he also uses 3 fingers.
he's going to go to this variation of the A suspended 4. It's almost like the other A suspended 4 in the other version of the song with the capo on the 1st fret. But what's going to happen, which makes this a little easier to play, is this 3rd finger still is going to not move. What I like to call this strategic chord placement. So you play your chords in a way so that when you switch to the other chord, you move the least amount of fingers possible. A lot of people won't teach you this, but this makes it so much simpler when you're trying to learn a song and you can't seem to switch your fingers to the new chord fast enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that third finger down. Lift up the other two, third finger still down. Our first finger is going to go onto the 5th fret on the D string, and our second finger is going to go onto the 5th fret on the G string. And then we should just play like this, and this pinky shouldn't be anywhere on the guitar. So we're going to tuck it back here for now. And that's how it should sound. Okay, now all together, this is what it'll sound like, and we're going to come back so you can play it with me nice and slow. So it'll sound like this. It's a little bit of a quick move there. Just do it slowly and practice and you will get it. Let's do it together. So we're going to go D, then a 4-finger G major, then we're going to strum the G major again, then go back to the D, and then to the variation of the A suspended 4. Let's do it nice and slow together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Okay? And sooner or later you're going to be able to play it nice and fast and it'll sound like this. Okay? And that's Free Falling by Tom Petty, both versions. So you decide which version you want to practice. He plays both of them in the song, so whichever one is easiest for you to play or sing along to, that's the one that you should learn. Okay? Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed.